Hello everyone and welcome to my 5th week of Halloween. We are making an elegant box today, not so spooky even though it says it is. This box is perfect for holding spooky treats like Ghirardelli chocolates or those little truffle-y things that I like so much at Christmas. Anyways, this is a pretty simple box. I'm going to walk you through it. We are using the Monster Bash suite of products today, and let's get started. The first thing that I want to do is make our label. So I've used the dies that come in the Monster Bash suite, and I've cut out a black, this is like an ornate frame, and then in Whisper White. And I have my stamp already here and my Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm just going to stamp and that's all the stamping really that we're going to do. Oh, but I do want my ink back because we're going to take a sponge dauber in our black and we're just going to sponge the edges just to give it a nice shadow. And you just want to flick the edges. You don't want to get too far, and a little ink goes a long way. This is just a fun technique. I like to do this, and I keep my sponge daubers handy, as you saw last week. And if you think it needs more, just go back over it until you're satisfied. But this just adds a little depth, and it takes away, because this is a pretty big label, it takes away all of that white space on there. And I have some snail. And I just did a refill, so that's handy. And that's going to fit right on there. Now again, I didn't like all that white space that was on there, so I took a pack of rhinestones and my dark basic black blends marker, and I'm going to color very quickly. This doesn't take long, and it dries super fast because it is alcohol, so it just evaporates. And then let me find my take your pick tool. It's right here in my drawer. And I'm going to pick those up, maybe, and follow the outline of that label. Oops, lost it. There it is. I'm going to turn it and do the other side. I don't know what I did without my take your pick tool. It is a lifesaver. Okay, so done with that, and there's our label. Okay, easy peasy. I'm gonna put that aside. Please don't let me forget where I put it, okay? Oh, then I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. All the measurements are going to be over on my blog at www.makingmemorieswithmichelle.com. This measures 4.5 by 1.5, and then I have a piece of the Monster Bash Designer Series paper, which is 4 3/8 by 1 3/8. But don't worry, okay? I promise it will be over on the blog. So we're going to line that up. And that's going to go on top of our box. I'm also going to set that aside. Now, I have a piece of basic black cardstock that I've cut down to 8 by 7 3/4. And we're going to take our Simply Scored tool and we're going to score it. So I want you to find the 8 8-inch side. So this measures 7 3/4. So just turn it until it's 8 inches. And using your stylus, or you can use the stylus on your take your pick tool, we're going to score it at 1 1/2, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, and 6 1/2. Then turn it once. So now we're on the 7 3/4 side, and we're going to score at 1 1/2 and 6 1/4. Put this aside. Now with your bone folder, I want you to fold it. Now the bumpy side goes in, okay? And if you don't know why, if you score and fold and burnish and the bumpy side or the ridge is on the outside, there's a very good possibility that your paper will tear, okay? You'll see those marks, and you don't want that. So always, put the bumpy side of your fold, whether you're making a box or whether you're making a card, on the inside. And take your snips, and we're going to cut up those score lines all the way to the first line. Now, before we flip it, on the squares, not the rectangles, so we have 1, 2, 3, we're going to go in and taper those sides, okay? Not the rectangles. The squares are going to be our inside flaps, and we won't see them. But if we don't cut a notch or taper or miter those corners, you know what's going to happen? It's going to overhang, and you won't get a nice fold, and it's really, go ahead. If you don't believe me, try it. I've tried it, and it doesn't close right. You've got edges that stick up. All right, so I did that, and now let's do the other side. Again, cut up all your score lines. And then on the squares, we're just going to cut those, and they don't have to be perfect. No one's going to see them. They're on the inside, okay? I'm giving you permission to not be perfect. There are so many places in our lives where we try so hard to be everything to everybody and to be perfect that we put a lot of stress on ourselves. I know I do. If you don't, I wish I could be like you. But in this instance, you don't have to be perfect. So lay your box flat. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to use snail. I highly recommend something stronger. You can use tear tape or you can use Tombow, but for the video purposes, I'm using snail. And on all of the squares, not the rectangles, but on the squares, so there are 6 of them, up near the seam by this crease, you're going to just lay down a strip of snail or your stronger adhesive of choice. And then flip. I put it on the wrong side. All right, so if you do that, you know what you can do? I learned this trick. You can take your embossing buddy. Maybe, if I can get it out of the bag. Oh my goodness. Can't fight her way out of a paper bag. All right, so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to dab that. And it's going to take that sticky off or cover it up. All right? Shh, don't tell anyone I did that. All right. Squares. Just put adhesive on the squares. It's really hard to talk and craft at the same time. All right. Now, see? Not sticky. Yay! That's going to be the inside. So what we're going to do is take this corner and fold it in. We're going to make the bottom of our box. Okay, see how we made that? Then, let's see, this one folds in. And now this one with the adhesive, before we do that, I have a 2-inch circle punch, and I'm going to notch this here. That was rather large. Okay, and then this flap goes here on the inside. And now you have a top lid and a bottom, and this just folds over like that. Awesome. Okay. Now we have our top layers. And this is going to go on top. Very elegant paper. And let's use some of this white tulle, and I'm going to wrap it. Now, you're not going to want to do this until you fill it, of course. But this is going to tie it shut. And just wrap it around the corners like you're tying a package, which you are. Okay. And tie a knot. And a little bow. Trim your edges. And then you know that label? Look, I found it. We're going to add dimensionals on the back. And just pop that right on. Which do you like better, white or black? Leave me a comment down below which one you prefer, and be sure to go over to my blog and find out your measurements for making your own elegant treat boxes. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.